Every building, I don't care what kind of building it is, has a story, and it sends a message to the people that drive by and experience it. It's a message about where it is, its context, the climate of that place, the culture of the people, and the craft of the builders who built it, and the craft of those builders in that market. And so I feel a successful building, particularly a public building, is a snapshot of those four things at that point in time.
The mission of the Patrick Heath Public Library is to cultivate a love of reading, cultural exploration, and lifelong learning. And it's also to provide an attractive space for people to discuss things freely. The design of the building helps us accomplish our mission because it's such an open space and it provides opportunities for people to engage in different activities, such as study rooms where they can actually engage in quiet conversation and also study and research. But we also have very large open areas that allow people to pretty much roam around and discover whatever they like to discover while they're here.
Our staff really rallied around this project because of the site and the program and where it was built. And so Jose Balboa and I started off working on the conceptual designs, and were able to sketch several different concepts and weighed the pros and cons of those different options. That process involved the community. We had 2 or 3 community meetings so that we could benefit from input from the citizens of Boerne and how they saw their library. Redesigned the layout actually a couple of times on our nickels, but the end result was much better. As the design progressed, staff were added to the team. Braden Haley, who became the project architect and was responsible for developing the construction documents, along with Jose and myself working hand in hand, and then Sarah Flowers focused on the interiors. And that staff, I mean, it was just a joy working with all of us, working together in a collaborative spirit with Kelly and her staff and their committee to develop progressive ideas for this building all along.
As we went through the design process with the firm, one of the most important things for us was to have a collaborative approach with that design firm and all of the players involved in the facility, which included the public. They were very welcoming to public comment, also held 2 public meetings, and then internally when they were working with staff, they were extremely collaborative and listened to us and actually did all of the things that we asked them to do, which required many revisions and many changes, but they were very willing to do it.
Our concept was to coexist with the natural surroundings that were there, the context. And we placed the building in a place where there weren't any trees. So we didn't have to demo trees in order to get this building to work. We placed it as close as we could to the tree line, and actually there's a floodplain back there, and we just stayed out of that floodplain. We tried to use the spaces that were available as our backyard. Some of the trees that are there are just fantastic, and you couldn't ask for better trees. You couldn't plant a tree like the trees that were growing there. They were there. We just used the trees. We positioned the building so it kind of hugged these trees and took advantage of that view to the creek bed. The building became like a two-sided entity. It had 2 identities to it, and one would be facing west. It would be the front door to the building because it's also facing Main Street, that's where everybody's approaching the building. And then the other side became more of a sanctuary, very peaceful, a lot of trees, and there's the creek bed, and we wanted to take advantage of it, the views to the east and the rolling hill country, and so that became the identity of the east side.
I came on board after the schematic design phase, and I guess what that means is schematic design phase, you hone in on a concept and a general layout of the building, and you kind of get all your ideas together. And so I came in at that point and I started working on turning those ideas, I guess, into reality and creating a set of construction documents and really turning those ideas into buildable details.
City Council thought that it was very important that we become a LEED certified building, which enabled us to have a water catchment system and also a high level functioning building as far as the air conditioning and heating systems and the technology associated with the building.
This was going to be a LEED project from the get-go, and we knew that, and so we kind of had to pull together all the stakeholders that would be involved in this process and come to a consensus on the sustainable aspects of the building and what we wanted to achieve, not just in regards to earning a LEED certification, but just creating a sustainable project. What I mean by a sustainable project, it's a project that takes into account its impact on the earth, its impact on the culture around it, its impact on the context, where it's located, and trying to kind of fit in with the context.
I worked as a member of the design team, and my main focus was to work with the interiors, both the finishes as well as the furniture that you see throughout the library spaces. There were several levels of collaboration on this project. We worked within our office. We had a very good collaboration. As far as the different members of the team, we listened to each other and worked really well together, bounced ideas off of one another to try to get the best product that we could. And then working with the city of Boerne and with Kelly, the library director, that was a huge collaboration process. We just all worked really well together, listened to one another, had lots and lots of meetings. Every Thursday we would sit down and meet and talk about the latest things, ideas that we'd come up with, and show renderings and models, and really try to help the city to understand the product that they were going to get and make sure that they were on board and wanted it. We didn't want to surprise them with anything on the final day. Today when I walked in, it was really nice experience to see that people were using almost every area. There's someone in just about every space. There are kids using the hub, which you see over my left shoulder over here. There are people using the popular materials area, doing internet researching and studying. There are people in the quiet room actually getting some quiet study time in. And then in the kids area, it's really nice to see how bright and lively that space is, and it turned out just exactly the way we wanted to, and the kids seem to really enjoy it.
Every building has a story, and it sends a message. It's a message about where it is, the climate of that place, the culture of the people, and the craft of the builders who built it.